We're talking about the situation with Amy Luciani and NBA star Dwight Howard. This is more than just a breakup story. It's a saga filled with denial, wigs, scandals, and a whole lot of internet drama. So buckle up, grab your snacks, and let's get into this tea. Because, baby, it's hot. Let's start at the beginning, when everything seemed perfect. Amy Luciani was all smiles and soft eyes, talking about how Dwight Howard was the man of her dreams. She called him perfect. Not just perfect. The perfect man walking with Christ. According to her, Dwight was the ideal example of a God-fearing man. She described him as the kind of man every woman dreams of: respectful, spiritual, protective. It was giving Christian love story energy, complete with Bible verses and sweet captions. Amy even gushed about how in sync they were, calling him her twin and obsessing over his little quirks. The way he danced, the cute little faces he made, even the way he moved. She was in deep, y'all. In her eyes, Dwight wasn't just a man. He was her man, her blessing, her gift from God. Their relationship seemed grounded in something deeper than just attraction. Amy claimed that Dwight reminded her to pray when she was losing touch with her spiritual side. She saw this as a divine sign that he was placed in her life for a reason, that he was her spiritual partner as well as her romantic one. Their connection was touted as something sacred. But behind the scenes, things weren't as holy as they seemed. Things started to unravel when Amy reportedly said she was done with Dwight because of the wigs. You heard that, right? According to gossip, Amy caught Dwight messing around with men in wigs. And that was supposedly the final straw. But here's the thing, it was never a secret. People had been whispering about Dwight Howard's sexuality for years. Even before Amy, there were already rumors. Royce Reed, Dwight's ex, and the mother of one of his children, had already been vocal about his preferences. She didn't hold back, telling the public that Dwight was not as straight-laced as he tried to appear. In fact, she implied that he was living a double life and that she had seen him with men multiple times. So when Amy stepped in, acting brand new, people were like, "Girl, we told you." The internet doesn't forget, and once the whispers turned into shouts, there was no ignoring the talk anymore. Here's what makes this story even wilder. Dwight Howard may have never officially come out, but the receipts have been piling up for years. Back in the mid-2000s and 10s, rumors started swirling about his sexual orientation. But everything changed when Stephen Harper filed a lawsuit against him. Harper claimed that Dwight had coerced him into a sexual situation with another man without his full consent, and that it caused emotional distress. He didn't just say it. He brought evidence. Messages, screenshots, timelines. There were even descriptions of another man, Kitty, who allegedly wore 2-inch heels and a church wig. Dwight's response? He claimed he wasn't gay, he just liked doing freaky stuff. But let's be real. That answer only raised more questions. The lawsuit was serious, and it forced people to really confront the possibility that Dwight had been hiding a major part of his life from the public. To really understand this story, we need to talk about the image Dwight has always pushed. When he entered the NBA in 2004, he wanted to be known as the good guy, the clean-cut, God-loving, Bible-quoting basketball player who kids could look up to. He went to Christian schools. He talked about abstinence. He claimed he wanted to be a light in the league. But the cracks in that image showed early on. Dwight has 5 children with 5 different women. And many of those women, including Royce, have said that he wasn't always present in their kids' lives. His relationships with women never lasted long. Engagements were called off, commitments were broken, and questions started piling up. People began to realize that something didn't add up, especially when Dwight was consistently linked to men behind the scenes. People questioned whether his spiritual proclamations were just for show, a mask he wore to maintain a certain image while living a very different life in private. Despite all that, Amy Luciani stood by her man. She posted long captions about how Dwight helped her get closer to God, how he reminded her to pray. She thanked him for being patient, loving, and spiritual. She said that just days after she prayed deeply, God sent her a giant with a Bible tattoo in the same heart as hers. Y'all, she wasn't just defending him. She was romanticizing the relationship. Amy showed off a massive engagement ring and hinted that they might already be married. She called out fans who spoke negatively about Dwight, especially those who labeled him a deadbeat dad. She said those claims were flat out false, that he was always with his kids and that people didn't see the real him. They even shared a toothbrush. Now listen, that's some next level intimacy. Maybe even a little too intimate for some folks, but in Amy's eyes, this was love. The kind of love you pray for, or at least that's what she believed at the time. But all of that fell apart when Amy allegedly caught Dwight in the act. And not just any act, bending over some men in wigs. The image she worked so hard to protect shattered. And suddenly, Amy wasn't praising God for her man anymore. She was running damage control. Reports say she was scrambling to cover it up. Not because she was shocked, but because she didn't want people clowning her for ignoring all the signs. And let's be honest, the signs were everywhere. From lawsuits to former partners speaking out, Dwight's reputation was hardly squeaky clean. The internet wasted no time dragging Amy. People reminded her of every time she went hard defending Dwight, every time she posted that toothbrush, every time she told the world how God sent her this man. Now she was stuck trying to undo the narrative she built. Dwight never outright confirmed anything. When he was asked about his sexuality during interviews, he dodged the question. He'd say things like, "What I do in my personal life is nobody's business." And while that may be true, in theory, it's a little harder to stand on that when lawsuits, public accusations, and screenshots are swirling around you. One viral exchange had someone ask Dwight, "Are you gay, bro?" And Dwight responded, "Is this what you want to talk about?" Followed by, "What I do in my personal life is nobody's business. Thank you." But here's the thing. If you're in the public eye, dating women, raising children, and shaping a public persona, your personal life does become part of the discussion, especially when people are being hurt or misled in the process. Let's not forget Royce Reed. She came out swinging with her own claims. According to her, Dwight wasn't just curious, he was deep into the alphabet. Her words, not mine. She said it was a slap in the face to the LGBTQ+ community that Dwight continued to deny who he was, while also allegedly engaging in relationships with men. She made it clear that Amy had all the information she needed. Royce was vocal from the start. So why was Amy acting blindsided now? Royce also talked about how controlling Dwight could be, sharing moments where he tried to dictate how she lived her life and raised their child. So it wasn't just about the rumors. There was real emotional strain and manipulation happening behind the scenes. This brings us to the million-dollar question. Did Amy Luciani really not know? Or did she choose not to care until the reality slapped her in the face? Because there's a big difference between being lied to and lying to yourself. Amy's a rapper, an influencer, a woman in the entertainment world. She's seen it all. The fakeness, the industry secrets, the smoke and mirrors. It's hard to believe she didn't at least suspect something. Maybe she thought she could change him. Maybe she thought love would be enough. Or maybe, just maybe, she knew and was okay with it until she wasn't. The pressure to maintain appearances in a public relationship is real. Social media often forces couples to perform happiness, even when things are crumbling behind closed doors. But when it finally collapsed, Amy had to face the fact that she might have been more invested in the illusion than the truth. At this point, the internet has made up its mind. People are calling Amy out for being in denial. They're saying that she ignored the red flags because she wanted the lifestyle, the ring, the social media clout, the idea of being the chosen one who fixed Dwight. But love built on lies can't last. And once the curtain was pulled back, there was no way to put it all back together. Amy's fairy tale was over. And the internet? They're not letting her forget it. So what do y'all think? Was Amy Luciani truly in the dark about Dwight Howard's alleged double life? Or did she choose to play along with the illusion until it got too messy to hide? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't hold back. I want to hear what you really think.